That's right.
When I think about, I mean, you said it yourself. I mean, there are really three partners involved at some level. You've got the drug manufacturer that's selling the product. You've got the buyer, maybe it's a healthcare network, an IDN, and then you have the company that's facilitating that order fulfillment and distribution, which might be a 3PL, for example. So when you think about the types of information flows that move between those entities, what elements of the process are most critical, or how do you manage that type of information? So for example, I'm thinking of accurate inventory levels, right? So if I'm a drug manufacturer and I'm selling product on Medigi's marketplace, I've got to make sure that I have inventory available for sale, and I've got to keep those records up to date and timely and accurate, right? Or when product is sold, how do I true up that inventory to make sure that the next person that comes into the Medigi marketplace knows that what they're placing orders on is actually valid product available for them? So how does that information flow today, and how do you manage that?
Great question, Henry. So our platform, our system actually automatically deducts inventory with each and every sale, right? So if a purchase order goes through today, the manufacturer had 2,000 available in stock, and the order went through for 300, it would be 1,700 remaining, right? So our system will deduct that inventory automatically. However, there's certainly circumstances where there could be a sale on another channel, and that's where EDI comes into play, right? So these back-end integrations with manufacturers are so important, from inventory levels, from purchase orders, to ASN files, automatic shipment notifications, and invoicing, right? The invoicing back and forth is actually pretty manual. Even though you can send an email, it can still be manual, right? So that's where, we're working with third parties like TraceLink and the Mint program to streamline that process, either via invoice, ASN, or POs. Where that's automatically done. And then the customer gets the real-time feedback that, the product did arrive on Friday, that ASN went right away without any kind of human delay or potential error. And so we really like to lean into the EDI aspect of it, and link up with folks like I said, like TraceLink, that has been in the space for decades, connecting the back ends for commercial organizations at the pharma companies and the dispensers out there.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and thank you. I obviously would love to spend a minute maybe elaborating a bit further on how you're working with TraceLink. You mentioned that digital integration. Can you give us an example of how that's working?
An example of how we can help is with the new DSCSA regulations, right? Customers ask us all the time about is this going to be compliant? And quite frankly, the pedigree doesn't get any cleaner than direct distribution, right? So an example of that is understanding which parties are at play, who is authorized to buy the drug from the manufacturer. Do they have the proper credentials? Is their GLN up to date? Is the DSCSA solutions provider embedded in that purchase order? And so once we've updated the system to ingest the new information required for the regulatory change, it has been just streamlined, right? So at the end of the day, the manufacturer understands, okay, the provider's TraceLink, we're going to route all the serialization data through the TraceLink, backend portal and exchange. So it really just tracks everything in real time. And it is that end-to-end solution that just doesn't involve the human interaction and delay that we had discussed earlier.
Yeah, thank you for that. And it's interesting. I mean, you referenced it yourself. I mean, the evolution of TraceLink moving beyond DSCSA to facilitate the digital integration and flow of information between entities like the ASNs, the invoices, and the POs. So I'm glad you brought that up.